Hi, it's Monday, June 11th, and this is Strictly Business.
Beautiful day, I'm feeling good. Gonna make some moves. No more shoulda, coulda. No time to waste, got nothing to lose. Now it's time to move forward. Being all I can be. So glad to be free. 'Cause I know if I try, no matter how I'm feeling, I can fly high. Ooh, no ceiling. I'll do my best. I ain't gonna stress, 'cause I'm taking care of business. Strictly business.
So, today we're going to tackle the topic of communication. So, they say communication is the most important life skill that you need. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a little game. And you've all done this game before. So, I'm going to tell Tanisha something, and we're going to pass it around, and we're going to see if it's the same thing once it gets to Yolanda. Okay? You can only tell the person one time. If they say, huh, you can't repeat it. So, we're going to see. Okay? So, success in business is greatly impacted, for better or worse, by the way in which we communicate.
I don't know either. I'm excited. I think we're gonna get it right.
Right. Telephone.
She can't.
Let's see.
Success is better in words by how we communicate.
No. What it said is success in business is greatly impacted, for better or worse, by the way in which we communicate.
You know what?
So that's just
Wrong.
right. Communication gone wrong. It's the perfect example of, making sure you tell the person you want to tell and not relay messages. Because when you do that, it comes back all wrong. So the desired outcome for communication is that there's an understanding.
Yeah.
And when it comes back and it's awkward and it's like, no, I didn't say that, or I'll get to that later. But there's an article in Forbes that says, is your communication style dictated by your gender? So what we're going to do is go through these topics that they listed, and we're going to, discuss and see if it's true, if what they're saying as a woman, if that's how we do, or some of the men's examples, if we see that, I know a man that does this, or my boss does this, okay? So the top 3 communication strengths for female: the ability to read body language and pick up nonverbal cues, good listening skills, and effective display of empathy. Number 1 for me, I pick up on body language the moment I sit down. The moment I see a person, the moment I talk to them, I know.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. That is definitely a strength. I don't know if you ladies agree as far as for women, but I know for me, that's definitely a strength of mine.
Yeah, body language for me too.
Yeah.
It tells it all.
Yeah.
And eye contact.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Eye contact.
I think.
What was the third one?
And sometimes you are wrong. I was going to say that.
Because I get misread all the time, and it's so aggravating because I project something that's not exactly where I'm coming from. So I have to constantly go back and reiterate no, and I feel like now I'm upset because now I got to explain, So no.
And body language too, sometimes the way you receive it, it could be where the other person is. So I had to learn that over the years, that if I am sitting down with someone, if I receive I'm a big energy person. So for me, the empathy part in terms of intuition, I can sense when something is off, but I've had to learn that sometimes that facial expression, their body language or their movement around me could be about something that happened before they encountered sitting down with me.
Right.
I came in today really rushed, and I've been trying to be more in tune with my body language when I even enter my space with my sisters, because I never wanted to be received as something that's going on between us, but more about I just rushed. You know, I want to make sure we're not late. But I also, even with Trish, I told her today, I said, we're always rushing. I never hug you. And I never want her to feel that that's because of something else. And she's like, yeah, we're always rushing and we're busy. And I said, yeah, but we always have time for that. So I think it's being more cognizant of what you put out and what you're receiving, and knowing that it's not always, you may not always get it right.
And it's not always negative either.
And it's not always negative.
Like, you know, we said to you earlier, you okay? You know, you know.
And I didn't hug anybody.
Because we know her
I'm
character.
sorry.
No, that's fine. We know
I'm
your
tired,
character.
you know.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's negative. It's like there's something, but you're just tired, you know? So it's not that it's always a negative attribute, but you can tell by somebody's body language that something is going on. Rather, you know, it's something or if it's something just in general, like I need a nap. So
We all need naps right now.
right.
Yeah, nap, vacation, etc. And I can communicate that well to you all, that I need that.
You too, honey.
So the other one was good listening skills. Now I know for me, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, because, you know, you're so excited about what someone said and you're like, yeah, wait, stop talking so I can tell you what I want to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not always listening like I should.
Call that waiting for the period.
Right, waiting for the period. But I'm trying to get better at that, because I don't want people to feel that I'm not listening. And I am, like, I can multitask and do multiple things at one time, but I don't want to be at the point where I'm just sitting there waiting for you to pause so that I can interject. So that's an area that I have been working on.
I think so that's difficult, to sit there and pause and really listen. In healthcare, you know, we have to do that because we want the patients to be able to think that, or to know, not to think, but to know that what they're saying, like we are really listening and that we're really being empathetic and that we're really hearing what they're saying. There's a difference between listening and hearing. So I think that's important, and I think it's hard, but when you're in certain fields where that has to happen, it sort of gets easier over time.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And the third one was effective display of empathy.
I think I'm Oprah. I'm going to hug you. I'm going to love you and make you feel good, you know?
I'm a Yanla by nature. I want to fix your life. I want to hear it. I want to fix it. I want to heal it. I want to hear, listen, feel. And so for me with communication, I'm like Charlene, I need to, and actually I've been learning that a lot from Charlene. Charlene is an incredible listener.
I would agree.
Even when I've been wrong, she's been able to even listen to me, and I've just been wanting, it's important to want to be heard. And so she's always been one of the few in my circle of sisters that is able to fully listen. And I learned that from her because I'm a counselor by nature and by trade. So even in our master's program, you forget some of those things, like empathic listening is also body language, like never cross your arms when you're counseling. Never, you know, you have to lean in a little bit so the person knows that you're engaged, and don't do the double Dutch moment is what we call it. Like you're waiting to jump in to kind of feed off of what they're saying. Let a person be heard. So I'm learning that more now, and it's very difficult in my work with students and with families because oftentimes I'm putting out fires.
I think you are a good listener.
Thank you. Thank you.
So is Yolanda.
Well,
She's
thank
been
you.
listening all
I do. I try to be a good listener. I hope I am.
You really are.
Yes, thank you.
I know for me, after a while, I tune you out. I'm sorry.
Be honest. Just be honest.
My hubby said that one time about you and Eric. When we were having a meeting, he was like, yeah, we got to a point where we got to, you guys have taught us to kind of, when it's time to be done with what we're doing, he was like, yeah, I think we kind of, they checked out because we had said what we needed to say already. And so we've learned that when we're meeting, like, say what we need to say and wrap it up. Because you don't want people to check out on you. No, that's good. That teaches people too, though. Yeah. It's a good teachable moment.
What you was going to say?
About nonverbal communication, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, but like when I'm ready to go, I put my purse on the table and I cross my hands. And that usually signifies I'm ready to go.
Thing, like she puts her purse on her arm. She crosses her.
She does that, but
She does when
by
she's
nature.
done with the conversation.
Like I was in an interview recently, and I was ready for it to end, and I just put my purse on the thing. I closed my portfolio, and I folded my hands. I was like, well, okay, well then we'll get back to you. That's great. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's true.
All right, and on that note, we'll be back to discuss the strengths of men. Welcome back. So we're going to continue our discussion on communication. So we're going to talk about the top 3 communication strengths of men.
Okay.
They command physical presence, 2, direct and to the point interactions, and effective display of power.
Okay, I'm trying to.
I don't agree with 2 of those in my personal life. The first one, what was it about? Commanding physical presence. I think my husband is good virtually or over the phone, but I'm more of he's very engaged in communicating, but he doesn't command physical presence. And then the third one being
Effective display of power.
effective display of power. I think I'm the more powerful one in communication, even if it's from a lively debate to normal conversation. I tend to be more alpha female-ish anyway.
We have intense fellowship. My husband's a counselor, so our communication is great, but it can be very intense. And he is very powerful. I mean, like I have to tell him, "Are you waiting for the and the the so you can find the period?" So I can, so I need him to listen more. But with me, we go toe and toe, and it could be something so simple, but that's how we communicate. Right. And so that's the power in the communication on his side. But yeah, I don't want to dominate the conversation because I'm a good listener. So I'll pass this on to somebody else.
I would have to agree with you with my husband. He's definitely more to the point, the power, the strength in the conversation. And he gets so excited when he talks.
Excitement.
So it's like,
That's what I meant.
okay, it sounds like you're yelling, pitch and tone, tone it down a little bit.
Right.
But he just gets so excited and it just comes off, forceful.
Right.
Where I'm just like, okay, yeah. But he does demand a physical presence. He does. It's like, for me, I can talk to you and you can, work and do things. He's like, no, you need to look at me. Where it doesn't matter for me. I'm like, you go ahead and do what you got to do, but I'm going to tell you this. But for him, he wants that eye contact. He wants you to look at him.
So if we're communicating while we're watching television, he will turn the TV off, down, pause it, and we'll talk. And then, and he does want me to look at him, but I want him to look at me too when I'm talking because I feel like he's like you. He tunes me out. Be present,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with some of that though. Yeah. Because actually we communicate better in via text. So it's not the physical
That
presence.
barrier.
Like I get all of the information in the text,
Right.
Nice. I can say Eric is definitely a good communicator. He don't, like for me, I want you to put your phone down, look at me, for him, I don't think it really matters, but it matters if I'm listening. So
That's right.
For that part, that's the powerful for him. He's a great communicator, like I said, and I don't think it matters whether I'm in the room or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doug's more of the powerful communicator in our relationship as well. Me, I'm quiet. definitely communicate better by text. Thoughts out. I can't express my feelings verbally, so it's better for me just to either write them down or text them or whatever else. But he definitely is more of the powerful leader in communicating.
My husband used to say, "Why you always sending an email after we conversate?" I'm like, because I didn't say what I wanted to say, so I had to think about it and email you. So, yeah.
Now that's one thing I can say. Like I'm a good communicator too. So when we have conversation, it does get deep. But he likes to do like he likes to put scenarios in it to where you like understand. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it like that.
I tell my husband, I don't want to take a quiz. Let's just talk. You know,
Right.
But and I don't want to feel like I'm in a session. You know, like sometimes I want to tell you about this bill that I don't want to pay. You know, then it's a session. But that's just him. He's a counselor by trade. You know, so do you do that to your husband too, Miss Counselor?
A little, and he'll tell me if I'm doing it too. That's the one thing that no matter what trade you're in, your family keeps you humble because they know you and they're like, you're doing that counseling stuff. That's not working for me. What about you, Evie?
Well, I mean, I don't have a husband currently, so to communicate that. But I mean, I'm going to put it this way: men nurses and female nurses. So when men nurses go into a room, I think they have more of that sort of presence of not take over the room, but they have more of a presence where they take command of the room versus nurses who identify as female, a little bit more subdued. In that area. I think both are able to communicate well. It's just they communicate differently and the patient's needs are still met regardless of that. So I'm just gonna take that spin and put it on nurses.
Like that. Like Charlene said, like Ty, he gets excited, so it seemed like it come out forceful. Where us women, we're more like calm when we talk, and so I get what you're saying.
So much.
I'm pretty passionate.
You know, when you walk into a room,
That's
you
true.
know, it's like a different tone.
tone.
What you said.
Yeah, that's true.
That's great.
So when we come back, we're going to talk about the weaknesses of women and men. We'll be back.
Look and feel amazing at Beauty for Ashes Makeup Artistry. Fashion, beauty, bridal, cinema, television, makeup artist Rosalind Matthew does it all. At Beauty for Ashes Makeup Artistry, we can take you from ordinary to extraordinary with breathtaking, classic, trendy, sophisticated looks suited to enhance your natural beauty. Beauty for Ashes Makeup Artistry hosts a lovely atmosphere suited for a queen. Call today for your winning look at 585-415-4509. Beauty for Ashes Makeup Artistry. We see the beauty in you inside and out.
Welcome back. So now we're going to discuss the top 3 weaknesses of females in communication. So 1, overly emotional. We won't get to the point. And not authoritative. So I would have to agree with pretty much all of them as a weakness as women. We do get overly emotional. Like I know for me, it was really bad for me a while ago because I had an issue with approval and wanting to make sure that, you know, and I ended up reading a book by Joyce Myers called Approval Addiction. And it had me go back to my childhood and where it took root. And so I had to realize that, you know, I don't need approval. So I don't get as emotional as I used to after conversations. So, and then won't get to the point. I think I'm pretty good at getting to the point. I don't beat around the bush. But I do know some people that do. You'd be like, okay, so what's she trying to say?
I'm a womb to the tumor. I'm womb to the tomb. I go from the beginning to the end. I try to shorten it. Womb to the tomb. Using all of that.
I haven't either. Hey, I think I'm gonna use that. I'm like, could you get to the tomb already?
I need you to get to the tomb.
Right.
Because you were still in the womb. And I'm checking out.
I'm sorry. This is a serious conversation.
It really is.
It is, but it helps you understand like where we're going as far as communication. If that's a weakness, you know, we have to bring out that weakness. Like, how do I get to the tomb faster? You know?
Again, my husband, is this a short story or a long story? Can you cut to the chase?
Right.
It's so not nice. I'm just kidding. I love you, Ivan. Sorry, go ahead.
I think with all three of those, it depends on who I'm talking to and what the conversation is about. If I'm going to be overly emotional, if I'm going to be, what were the other two?
Get to the point.
Get to the point. If I'm going to get to the point,
And not authoritative.
and not authoritative. I think it all depends on who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to my son, a little bit more authoritative. I'm going to get to the point, and my emotion may be more on the anger side. You know, but
I agree.
in love.
I'm with you. Yeah. That's me too. Depends on who I'm talking to.
I agree with all three of them, but depending on the situation, you know, the circumstance that you're in or whatever else, all three would apply.
So I'm probably the biggest feminist at the table. So I don't agree with any of them.
Okay.
For all women, because I don't like generalizations.
Right.
I know women that are very direct, that are not emotionally based, and that get to the point. So I probably, in one particular circle that I'm in, with a group of women, I would have to say most of them don't have these characteristics. They're very direct. No, they're very direct. They're very authoritative, and they're not emotion based. And I like that because we're in a different type of fellowship together, and with some of the things that we're doing, it calls for that. We have a couple that are like that, but for the most part, they're pretty balanced emotionally. So I think the only reason why I don't agree with that is because I don't like generalizations about women or men. Right. But speaking from my lens of life, the lens that I look through in terms of being a woman, I don't like that type of generalization because
with those categories, right?
I think depending on the situation, overall, I'm a very thorough person in life.
So you're
very.
the tumor then.
I can be unapologetically Wuntatum, but I also can be unapologetically, deliberately, strategically to the point. And depending on what it is, if it's business and if I'm leading, and I've done this sometimes, I don't like to come from a bully pulpit in a couple of groups that I'm leading, but there are some times where I have to command that everyone come together because we're all over the place. And so it's not emotion based, but it's more of being more direct and brief.
We can say that these
So-
are somewhat generalizations,
They're
but I
overgeneralizations.
can definitely pull out some parts of me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can pull out some parts of me, but not some parts for some other women.
I'll
that I
argue
know.
tooth and nail that I'm not emotional, but if I
Yeah.
took a seat back and replayed the tape, I can see a lot of emotion there,
Right.
you know, quickly, you know, so, and I don't want to always admit it, but,
Right.
you know.
And I've worked for women that are very much not any of the three, that were heads, like some of my principals and
There's
some
some
of,
exceptions.
yeah. Right. So,
They can be more masculine in their communication approach.
Right.
or more alpha woman.
And I'm glad we're having this conversation because it's important to know, even though that Forbes article said these are the weaknesses, these are the strength of men and women, everyone's going to go across, you know, all these
It's
spans.
definitely different for all. I could just relate to me, but I know a ton of women who don't fit in this category.
Absolutely.
So
We wanted to make sure we covered you out there, those women that are watching.
So real quick, the 3 communication weaknesses they have for men: overly blunt and direct, insensitive to audience reactions, too confident in own opinion.
No, that's not always true. And I'm not trying to piggyback on what, I'm not trying to piggyback on what you're saying, because sometimes I want my husband to really be direct, and he'll say it, he'll pacify me, and then he'll tell me later on. But I'm like, I needed to know this yesterday.
Yeah.
Case in point, when I had my grand opening, I had a suit that I was going to wear, and I didn't buy anything because I thought that was going to be nice. But he told me the day of the event, really isn't nice. Why did you wait until the day? You know, if you would have told me, communicated that yesterday or even the week before, I would have been stellar. You know, so.
Yeah.
And you were.
Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you. You just love me, but I appreciate it.
And with that, I think it depends on the career of the men too. So like I said, going back to men in nursing, I don't think any of them would necessarily apply.
Oh gosh, could you imagine if a nurse came in and was so crass? I've
had a couple of those.
can't be in that much pain.
Right.
But my liver's hanging out. You know, whatever, you know.
But then you see a lot of these with business owners. You do see some of these traits in some of them in business owners because it's theirs. They have a possession over it and they want it right. So you do see that they're blunt into the indirect. They're confident in their own opinion and sometimes can be insensitive, you know, when it comes to telling them about their business. So.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to be a little of that, and as the owner of a business, when you're communicating to your customer, because people may want to take advantage of you. And me, that's one of my spiritual gifts. I'm a giver, and I have to remember this is a profit-based business, you know, not for profit. This is a profit-based business, so I'll give you everything, you know. But I gotta get better with that because actually, there was a time I hated taking money, you know. So I have to communicate better to my customers what my expectation is as far as whatever the case may be, my time, whatever.
Right.
Communicate that up front effectively.
There you go.
And on that note, we'll be back.
Welcome to Strictly Health with myself, Dr. Yvette Conyers, family nurse practitioner. 2018 Men's National Health Week starts today, June 11th, and runs until the 17th. What a better way, ladies, than to celebrate dads and men to really encourage them to take charge of their health. This week is all about healthy bodies, exercise, good diet and eating good, and regular visits to the doctor for medical advice and early treatment. This week, we ask you to join with us in showing support for men's health by wearing a blue ribbon, or on Friday, if it's okay with your employer, by wearing blue. So ladies, what are some ways you can encourage the men in your life to take charge of their health?
For me, I just schedule the doctor's appointments.
Like that.
So he has to go when it comes in the calendar. You got an appointment in an hour. You got to get ready and go.
So you're taking charge to make sure that that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to. They have the busy schedules.
He's
and
busy, right.
Yeah, and you know, some men, what I hear from other people, it's just like not a priority. So I'm like, okay, you need to go. Just like I have to go for my yearlies, you have to go for yours too. So.
Yeah.
I usually ask them like, wait, when was your last appointment? Oh, okay. We all going then. You know, like 'cause
Make
I
it a
try to
family
make
affair.
Yeah, because we all go to the same office.
Yeah.
So I try to make our appointments like all the same, same date, same time.
Right.
Different doctors, but yeah.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I always ask my husband. He's pretty good about taking charge of his health because of family history and stuff like that. But I'll buy like the blood pressure monitoring belt. We have that around the house because we both have that issue. And I try to cook healthy. Not always, but I monitor what he eats too.
So maybe for the week of June 11th through the 17th, as we're celebrating Men's Health Week, you can cook healthy meals for him.
Thanks a lot, Yvette. I will do that.
No problem.
No pressure.
You constitute whatever healthy is for y'all. We were talking about shrimp. I want some shrimp.
So this week, you have to eat, you know.
Low sodium.
Yeah,
Veggies.
there we go. Yes.
He's not a veggie man, and my granddaughters took right after him. They're not veggie girls, but I love vegetables. But we can do a little spinach. He'll do that.
Mix it in.
And chicken breast. That's what we're gonna have every day this week.
All right.
Yeah, if I don't have some steak on my husband's plate for Father's Day, yeah. I might have to move in with one of y'all.
But make sure some salad on there, some fruit, some vegetables.
And throw it on a grill.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Grill.
We'll do a grill. vegetable.
Whatever.
That's true.
He's a chicken
But
man.
then he would have to work the grill. I'm not a grill girl.
That's right. That's that physical activity that they need this week too.
Right. I'll put a salad on the side.
What about
Potatoes.
you, Yolanda? What are you going to do to encourage your men in your life?
Douglas is my husband's pretty in charge of taking care of himself, and he's pretty healthy. He knows what to do. He likes vegetables. He loves his chicken breast. Has to be fried though. Maybe I'll try that. I'll make his little favorite thing, but I'll make it fry it healthy or something.
Olive oil.
Olive oil.
Air fryer?
Yes.
I have a friend who has
We
that.
have an air
and
fryer too.
I hear it's pretty good.
Man, that thing is packed away. I'm gonna, well, and not in 2 years, but we're gonna take it out. We're gonna take it out and use it.
Yeah. Even going for a bike ride this week or going for a walk, you know, maybe instead of walking to get ice cream, you walk to go get frozen yogurt or you do something with some frozen berries yourself at home. So, you know, not just diet, but what about physical activity, mental health, right? We talked about that a couple weeks ago. You know, what can we do to support our men mentally? Pray for them, you know, encourage them.
Make love to them.
Okay,
Definitely.
you
Love
heard
on
it
them.
here.
Mental
You know,
health,
all those
physical
things,
strength and
physical
health,
strength.
Father's Day weekend. Make them laugh, make them happy.
Exactly.
Have fun.
But all those things, and I
She said I
know
can arrange that. We married y'all.
most of y'all. No, can't do it. Sure. But take charge of the health. That's what it's about, and making it happen. You know, in February we honor women. We wear red, right, to support heart disease in women. I don't think we do a lot for men. So this week, let's really take charge, June 11th to June 17th, and try to really encourage our men and young boys in our family, right? You know, you got two young boys looking up to Eric. What can they do as a family? You know, you have Silas. I have a son, and I will encourage my son. You know, that week. And every week, right? Every day we can do something to really support men's health, you know. Encourage them to get those prostate screenings when they're of age, that cancer screenings. You know, have that discussion in the family about immunizations and things like that. But physical activity, good exercise, physical, mental, and spiritual health. Very important.
Manhunt, no Xbox, manhunt on Father's Day. That's what we normally do. We get out and we play manhunt around the block until the neighbors decide to call because kids are outside playing and they're used to not seeing kids. But yeah, it's a good workout. It's like playing tag and hide and go seek.
That sounds like a lot
But
of fun.
no Xbox.
Yeah, see, we like to do bike riding.
Yeah.
So my husband has the double bike, so he'll be in the front and have our daughter in the back, and we all just
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Or board games, right? I love board games.
Too.
Board games are
Mentally
fun.
relaxing. Except when
Eric usually set up the the stuff in the backyard with the tires.
Oh
and
yeah,
all
I saw that on your
stuff.
page.
Yeah.
Like, man, I want to come over and play.
We out there doing some CrossFit. Let me come out.
Yes, so that's great to do.
Yeah.
Sorry, the one game that we love is that Crackle Barrel. That thing, it's in a triangle with the little pegs.
Oh, yeah.
We take that so serious. Who actually plays that game but the Matthews? We love that game.
My husband plays that. We bought it for home.
Oh, did you?
We have one at home.
I'll buy him one for Father's Day. We take it so serious.
And they have it right there. All the throwback games are at Cracker Barrel.
Thank you so much.
Love those.
That's right around the
Shout
corner
out to
from
Cracker
mine.
Barrel. Love your biscuits.
Thank you, Crackle Barrel.
Biscuits. It's healthy.
Biscuits. I know we talk about men's health.
But I'm not gonna have the biscuits. I'm gonna opt for the salad, and I'm gonna home cook.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Sorry, I just thought about the biscuits with the honey.
She not gonna have the biscuits that week. And no honey.
Not that way. No honey.
You could do agave. Agave is better than honey.
That's good.
Yeah, no biscuits.
So we had a wonderful time talking about communication, learning a lot about each other and how we enjoy to be communicated with. We thank you for tuning in. Join us next week as we have our Fatherpreneur segment. I'm not going to give you too much information about it. Just tune in. You'll love it. Thank you.